Chapter 34 Reaction of Dorgo and Thalion. We see somebody, covered from head to toe in black ninja clothing, rushing back from the drawer first by jumping from tree to tree. The only distinctive features about the person is her extraordinarily large breasts, which are bouncing as she jumps from tree to tree in a hurry. The direction the person is going is the direction of the kingdom of Dorgon. I need to hurry and bring this report back to my king. He has to know what is happening, the person said as she continued to jump. Just then the person felt an arrow approaching her at high speed. She narrowly dodged the arrow. She fell down from the tree she was jumping from. She landed on the ground and looked up, only to see that she was surrounded by about 20 bandits. Some of the bandits were standing on the trees that were surrounding her, while some were standing on the ground surrounding her. One of the bandits on the ground that appeared to be the leader stepped forward. Well, boys, look like we made quite the catch today. Another one of the bandits stepped up near the leader. Looks like she would fetch some. And she looks like she would fetch quite a good sum. What should we do, boss? We capture her, of course. Boys, capture the girl, the bandit leader shouted. The other bandit began to approach the girl, who was covered in her ninja disguise. The girl drew 2 ninja swords and held them in both her hands. The bandits hesitated, but continued to approach. They believed that they would overwhelm her with their numbers. No matter what happens, I will deliver this report to my king, the girl said to herself, and the fight began. 3 weeks later. In the meeting chamber in the Kingdom of Dorgon, we see King Gazal having a serious meeting with his ministers and top officials. I just received a report from our spy that we sent out to spy on Tempest. It seems she ran into some trouble on her way back and took 3 weeks to recover. But she finally returned and delivered her report to me, Gazal said to those in the meeting room. What did she say in her report, my king? Dolph, who was a leader of the Pegasus Knights, asked her. The situation is dire. A great threat has been revived, Gazal told them. Can you elaborate, my king? Buggin said, one of the ministers asked. Gazal sighed before he began. To start with, the rumor about Demon Lord Rimiru ascending to a true dragon is correct. Furthermore, the Kingdom of Tempest was attacked by the Holy Knights, led by Hinata Sakaguchi, the Saint, and lost. It was an overwhelming defeat for them, and it was said that Demon Lord Rimiru was challenged by Hinata and won with less difficulty. The room fell silent after hearing such news. To think that Hinata the Saint, who was the pride of humanity, would lose to the new Demon Lord Rimiru. Forgive me for speaking out of line, my king. But doesn't this mean that Demon Lord Rimiru is now stronger than you? Dolph asked. Watch your mouth. Do not speak such blasphemy in this room, Lady Jane, the old woman who was the advisor to King Gazal and the kingdom's archwizard, rebuked. Please forgive me for speaking out of line, Dolph immediately apologized. Gazal could not blame him for asking that. He has spied on Hinata and has more or less gauged that she was on his level. If both of them were to fight, he has no idea who would come out on top. It was only natural that if Rimiru defeated her in an overwhelming victory, then he wouldn't stand a chance against Rimiru. That was the undeniable truth. To think that Rimiru would surpass him to this extent is just unbelievable. Regardless of things, we can conclude that it is undeniable truth. My agent was the one who brought back the report after all. Henrietta, the leader of the spy network in Dorgon, said, Was your agent able to see the fight between the two? Lady Jane asked. She couldn't she didn't seem quite well due to all the chaos and confusion, but she was able to witness the conclusion of the fight, in which it is the defeat of Hinata, the Saint, by the hands of Demon Lord Rimiru. Henrietta said, "Well, it's no surprise to me, given that the Kingdom of Lubitus, who were human supreme maniac blockheads, has all of a sudden changed their doctrine and now have an open diplomatic relationship with the Kingdom of Tempest. It is safe to assume that this report was accurate," Gazelle said to them. "In that case, what do we do, my king?" Dolph asked. "The situation is bad, but that is hardly what concerns me. What concerns me are two things. One is the engagement between Demon Lord Rimiru and Demon Lord Milim Nava that will be held next week. The other is the powerful entity that was reported to have matched Demon Lord Rimiru in power," Gazelle told them. That was his greatest concern. He can pretty much guess how powerful Rimiru is by now, and if someone was able to match him in strength, then this world might be doomed. The others kept quiet after understanding the gravity of the situation. Jane spoke after some time. "So, do we know the identity of this new threat?" she asked. "Well, our spy reported that she could not identify the being except that it was a female. She said that some kind of mental magic was used to block the being's face from anyone who tries to look at her face. Our spy couldn't get a grasp of her powers because it seems endless, but she was able to confirm that she was excluding power, the same amount of force as Demon Lord Rimiru," Gazelle explained to them. "This is quite troubling. Demon Lord Rimiru is a true dragon now, so having someone who is able to match him in strength is quite frightening," Vagan said out loud. "What do we know who won between the two, my king?" Dolph asked. "I am not sure, but the spy reported that when she came to, the fight had already been concluded. It seems that some kind of attack was fired at the area she was hiding in, which destroyed the area and killed her, but in the process she believed she died, but somehow got revived when the whole area was fixed by an unknown power. She didn't say to know what happened and how she survived because she wanted to return and report back to me as soon as possible," Gazelle told them. "If she died, how did she get revived?" Jane asked. "I wouldn't be surprised if Demon Lord Rimiru revived her with his godlike powers at this point," Vagan said. "So she revived is not what's important right now. What's important is that we find out all we can about who this being that could match Demon Lord Rimiru is," Dolph said to everyone. "We don't know everything about this new threat or her powers. All we can do now is strengthen our defenses and ask Rimiru who she is when we meet each other, which shouldn't be long considering that he is hosting an engagement party soon," Gazelle said. "That's right, you mentioned that Demon Lord Rimiru and Demon Lord Milim are getting married," Lady Jane said. "Tempest is already a big trading country, but if those two are getting married, then their two kingdoms will merge and become one nation," Dolph said to everyone. "Imagine a kingdom ruled by two demon lords who are catastrophe-class monsters. I would shudder thinking what will happen to the world if those two ever become enemies of humanity," Henrietta said, while shivering a little. "What will you do about the invitation, my king?" Vagan asked. "You guys worry too much. Did you forget that this is Rimiru, my sword student and friend? I will attend to his engagement party and wish him a happy married life," Gazelle said while laughing out loud. The others calmed down after seeing their king relaxed attitude. They didn't have to worry because of their belief that their king will protect them from any crisis. "Demon Lord Rimiru and I may not be related by blood, but we are brothers. As long as he does not lose heart in humanity, Let us provide him with all the support he may need and build a new area of budding civilization together. If anyone objects, let them speak now. Let him speak now, Gazelle asked them. How can I say no to you, my king? Vagan asked with a smile. My lord and king, I am your shadow who will follow your every whim, Henrietta said. You can do what you like. I'm way too old to start complaining with you now, Lady Jane said in a nonchalant way. Dolph sighed while shaking his head. If this is what you wish, my king, I suppose I will have to clean up the mess that results. Dolph Gazelle nodded at them all and resumed the meeting, and the meeting proceeded without any issue. Sorry. Kingdom of Thanion. On the ground of the royal palace of Thanion was a large, impressively beautiful garden, expansive enough to house various plants and creatures rare to find in the wild. This park was personally funded by the emperor, who enjoyed a vast fortune thanks to the main streams of revenue she enjoyed. A very small percentage of this revenue was all it took for this masterpiece to keep going. Not just the garden, nothing in and around the place was funded. Not just the garden, nothing in and around the place was funded by tax revenue. That was how impossibly rich the head of the sorcerer's dynasty was. Two people were currently relaxing within these gardens. One was Archduke Earl Grimwald, father of the adventurer Elend, and one of the nation's most powerful officials. Facing him was the only person at the end who wielded more authority than he. It was the Emperor Amisia Elru Thayan herself. Your Excellency, the nation of monsters I have reported to you has sent me an invitation, Arnold said while presenting a letter to the Emperor. She took the letter and read it without speaking. While others may believe that the Emperor Thayan was a wise ruler without faults, that couldn't have been farther from the truth. Sure, she was wise beyond words, but her personality is that no one would expect from her reputation. Curse you, Harold. You went to that fabulous land all by yourself, and I didn't even bring back any souvenirs. I imagine it was quite the exciting experience, and you left me behind. You even went and named yourself my representative and established ties with them, no less. If our business with them was that important, I would have liked to involve myself with it, but no, you left me behind. That was the thought that was currently running through Elismia, as she read the letter that was given to her. I wish I could have seen that charming slime for myself. And meeting a demon lord just after he sent into a true dragon. Why I've lived for many, many years. If not even I have been graced with that opportunity. Just look at you, hugging it for yourself. Does the term abandonment mean anything to you? Imagine being treated like this by your own people. What a pitiful leader am I? I am. I've never been this envious and offended before in my life, Elmisia thought to herself with an irritated expression. She was pissed that Earl didn't take her on a trip to Tempest, and it was showing on her face. Earl, who saw her expression, wisely kept his distance from her just in case she acts on her emotion. After reading the letter, Elmisia turned to Erlard Earl, what do you intend to do with this? What do you mean, Your Excellency? Arnold asked, trying to play dumb. The reason Arnold was trying to play dumb was because the content of the letter was an invitation to the engagement party between Demon Lord Rimiru and Demon Lord Milim. Arnold was invited and asked to inform them of the number of people who were going to attend. He knew that if he should attend this on his own without informing Elmisia, he would never hear the end of it from her, so he showed her the invitation letter, but he was secretly hoping that she would not be interested in going. If Elmisia decides to go, then it would now be a state visit and will take an entire administration to prepare for. That's why he desperately was trying to play dumb about the letter. Playing dumb, are we? Do you know, Earl, of my pastries we procured from that man Yoshina's bakery? They're far tastier than they used to be, aren't they? Could you venture a guess as for why? Elishma asked. I'm sorry, Your Excellency, I do not know, Earl answered truthfully. I mean, what does sweets have to do with the invitation letter? He thought to himself. You truly don't know. Shame. Yoshida, it seems, has found a new source of his ingredients. It allowed him to greatly expand the diversity of his wares, and the quality of his work has improved to match. In exchange of monetary support, he's been willing to send supply of his goods to us, Elishima explained to him. I don't see what this has to do with anything, Earl said what was on his mind. Is that what you think? Is that what you think? Just so you know, I recently invited Yoshida here. Eleni, you see, brought along the most tremendous cake I've ever had. I was hoping I could have him become the Emperor's official dessert specialist, but he turned me down. No matter how much money I stacked on the table, Yoshida refused to come here. Elishima said with a disappointed voice. Wait, Your Excellency, do you mean that Ellie brought you a delicious cake? Earl asked. Oh, you don't know? She's been coming here for our regular tea parties, Elishima told him. Earl didn't even know where to begin to comment on this. That's not important right now. What's important is that I have obtained some rather useful information, Elishima told him. Which is? Earl asked. Well, of all places, it turns out this baker is seriously considering to move to the nation of monsters. And if that's true, then I must attend to this invitation to confirm why he would go to the new nation instead of coming to our own. Don't you think? Elishima said to him. Earl sighed. Does that mean that you are accepting the invitation? Of course, I too would like to visit this nation of monsters. I would also want to confirm what that huge power we felt coming from their city was, Elishama explained to him. Arnold wanted to object, but he was not stupid enough to try and argue with his leader. He made a vow a long time ago that he would protect her, even at his cost of his own life. If she was to encounter any dangers in the Kino Tempest, he would do whatever is necessary to ensure her safety. You worry too much, Arnold, Elishama said to him. Your Excellency, no matter what happens, nothing can harm me. You should know this better than anyone. After all, you know what my powers are, right? Elishama asked him. Arnold sighed. That's true. Glad that you are reminded. Now then, send backwards to Tempest and tell them that Thyon has accepted their invitation, Elishama told him. Consider it done, Arnold said as he left. Elishama watched him leave before a frown came to her face. That power I felt was beyond anything in this world, and for a while time was stopped. If that power was generated by a demon Lord Rimiru, then he is a bigger threat than everyone thinks. I need to meet him to confirm what his character is. This was one of the major reasons why she wanted to go to Tempest. She didn't want to tell anyone this because she wanted to meet Demon Lord Rimiru face to face. If Earl knew of her true reason for wanting to go, he would never allow her to leave Cylon. That's all for today's video. Don't forget to subscribe today to become one of my domestic listeners. Goodbye and peace out, everyone.